in Maine. Why must I chase the cat?
Good evening and welcome to Posse Presents. Here another Saturday night. Coming up on some really crazy weather, I hear. Some speedos looking forward to running. Going to be warm coming up. It's great. It's not even spring yet. Couldn't believe today there was a motorcycle out on the highway. That's a little too cold for that. But it's all good. It's coming. Spring is coming. Anyway, I'm still really excited about last week's show. If you missed it, we had Cherry Garcia, who is one of the victory dogs, one of the dogs that was taken from the Michael Vick property in 2007. It was a really, really cool experience. He was an awesome dog, very laid back, very mellow, very loving. Couldn't believe just how little he was or is, but his people are very, very sweet. And let's get those pictures up of Cherry. This is a little time after the show. We got little love-ins in and a couple of photos. And there's, I think, one more. Yeah, I'm so serious. Zach cut off Melissa's head, unfortunately, trying to get the dog in. But that was like the really cool shot where Cherry was like, "What you want, Zach?" But yeah, that was a really, really awesome experience. And I'll take the camera back. Just a reminder that next week is the screening that I'm going to of The Champions up in Northampton, Mass. And I'm so looking forward to seeing the film. Of course, Cherry Garcia is featured in the documentary. And they'll be there along with Darcy Dennett and some of the other people involved with Best Friends and the trainer that was involved. So it's bound to be a very exciting event in addition to the emotionally charged aspect of seeing that video. I'm going to probably cry. I thank God for waterproof mascara. We're going to all have tissues, I'm sure. But I'm really looking forward to it. And just as a reminder, I won't be on the air next week, and I will be rerunning the show from last week. So in case you missed it, you can see Cherry Garcia in all his glory here on Posse Presents. It's been kind of an interesting week for me as a media presence. The Champions Facebook page actually shared the article that I wrote in my column about the movie, and that was really cool. That got my article a little bit attention, and you know, it always feels good. I don't have an ego at all about anything that I do. I do what I do from the heart, and I do what I do to help, and because, you know, I believe in something, I'm going to write about it. And it was kind of like when I had seen that Cesar Millan's Facebook page shared my review of his show here in Waterbury at the Palace. Just scrolling through my news feed, and I see my article pop up, and then I look to see who shared it, and it's like, oh my God. You know, it's really cool, and I enjoy it. So it was nice to see that. And then later in the week, interestingly enough, you know, we talked on the show last week, and for anybody who's familiar with the Victory Dogs, Best Friends Animal Society out in Utah was a place where a lot of the dogs went, a lot of the adoptions took place. They're an amazing place, and they were very much involved with saving the Victory Dogs. Well, I got an email from someone in their public relations department because of my article. So once again, I was kind of blown away, like, wow, somebody involved noticed. So we had a little back and forth, and she made sure that I knew that there was the digital download available now. And she's like, you know, you should download it, you should watch it. I was like, you know what? I want the experience to be the same for all of us going to see the documentary. If I see it now, it's going to ruin like that group experience. You know, when you go to something like that, you go with your friends, you kind of are all looking to have that same experience. If I see it beforehand, call me corny, as much as I'm dying to see it, it just kind of like it ruins it for me. It's not that same fresh experience. But definitely a very cool week for me in that respect. And I did send her the YouTube link to last week's show, and I'm waiting. She said she'd watch it. She didn't get a chance to see the whole thing, but we'll see. In the worst case scenario, she watches it and doesn't like it. But how could you not like Cherry? Just a very cool little aside for me. And kind of in keeping with that, I had an email it was last week, from somebody connected with the documentary A Dog Named Gucci. Now, I don't know how I didn't know about this story, about this dog, or about the film. Now I do. But A Dog Named Gucci tells a really incredible story that doesn't start out too well for the dog, but it turns into a lifetime of some pretty cool stuff. This movie was actually screened this past week at Yale, and unfortunately I couldn't go because it just, me on a weeknight, I'm useless between getting someplace in time and having, I turn into a pumpkin really early at night during the week, so it just, it didn't happen, and I'm sad about that. But it's probably the last screening they're going to have. It's possible there could be another one, but it's probably the last one because it's going to be released on DVD next month. So they've been promoting it, and I kind of missed that boat. But Gucci's story. Basically, his history starts when he's about 10 weeks old, and some guy's like outside of his house, and he hears a commotion, and these thugs, I guess, for lack of a better word, have a puppy hung by his collar, and they're beating him, and they set him on fire. And the guy who saved Gucci, his name is Doug James, he ran out to try to see what was going on, and he sees what's going on. Puppy runs under somebody's house. Thing's looking at him. He can't get to him. The guy comes out, hoses him down. They take him to the vet, and miraculously, Gucci was okay. Not without suffering serious burns and having to have numerous surgeries. Zach, let's get some of those pictures up. I mean, this is a picture of Gucci. He actually looks like the sweetest dog. Unfortunately, the 3 assailants pretty much got off with a slap on the wrist. And that's often the case, unfortunately, with, these domestic animal abuse cases. There's not enough legal backing. There aren't laws in place to protect animals, unfortunately. And so Doug James, because of Gucci, decided to fight to change the laws. And he did. For however long it took him, he did it, and they passed in the state of Alabama what they call the Gucci bill, and it makes, in the state of Alabama, domestic animal abuse a felony. And that's pretty amazing. There's a couple more pictures, Zach. I believe that's Gucci with Doug James, and there is the poster for the documentary, and Christine and Gorman Bouchard, actually, I was emailing with them about the documentary. It sounds, there's a trailer up, and it sounds very much like it's a fascinating story. You obviously horrible for what happened to Gucci in the beginning, but he was loved and cared for by Doug James for the rest of his entire life. And Gucci lived to be 16, which is a ripe old age. They were a team. Gucci apparently went with him to a lot of the things that he attended to try to change the laws. And, just amazing what people can do. This was a pivotal moment, obviously, for Doug James, and a life-changing moment in a lot of ways for Gucci. I'll take the camera back, Zach. It could have ended so much differently for Gucci. In spite of his injuries and his surgeries, he ended up in the right hands because of what happened. And, again, 16 years, it's a ripe old life. Apparently the documentary does talk to the people who were involved with the proceedings and the vet and the police, and it seems like it's a really another must see. There is a Facebook page, and it's called The Dog Named Gucci. There is a website, A Dog Named Gucci, and if you've got any curiosity, and I don't see how you cannot, you can check those out. Very informative, give you more information about the film, and if there's going to be any more screenings. Like I said, I can't believe I didn't know about this. I certainly don't ever claim to know it all, that's for sure. But I can't wait to see the film. I do hope they screen it again, but even if they don't, I think I'm going to end up getting myself a copy, because now I've got to see it. You know what I mean? It's got me drawn in. It's a pretty amazing thing. Gucci's story ties into what we've got going on here in Connecticut as far as Desmond's Law. And, now is the time to get involved. This is that time where, lawmakers got all the bills coming up in front of them. Desmond's Law is HB 5344. It's kind of like in my head. They're looking at, again, the bill to prevent insurance companies from discriminating according to breed. If you've got a pit bull or a Rottweiler or some of these other breeds, the insurance companies won't cover you for homeowners or renters because you have these dogs. This is your chance to get involved, and this is your chance to have your voice heard. There's a lot of things that people can get done. Gucci's story is certainly an inspiration. It can work. It may take a long time. It may take several attempts. Desmond's Law and even the insurance bill, they all came up last year too and didn't get passed. So sometimes you just got to keep trying, and you can't give up. No animal should ever suffer from abuse. It's just, there's no reason for it. Connecticut Votes for Animals is a very strong force here in Connecticut for trying to get these laws changed. You can visit their website or their Facebook page, and they spell out for you what's coming up in front of the lawmakers. They give you templates so that you can write your letters, write your emails. They tell you who to contact. They tell you how to find your legislators. They make it pretty easy. Amy Harrell, who is the president of Connecticut Votes for Animals, has been on the show a couple of times. She does amazing work. It's a great organization. So, here I am plugging them once again. But, people do need to get involved. And in order to get anything done, people do. They need to roll up their sleeves and join the fight, Don't leave it to someone to do something, because the truth is, you are someone. You need to be that person to get something done. And, without don't leave it to other people. You know, it took me a little time to write my email for Desmond's Law. Whatever, you know what, if that law gets passed and one animal is protected because of it, or one animal gets justice because of it, then my time wasn't in vain. So you've got to look at it the same way. Same thing with the insurance bill. You know, maybe you don't have a bully breed, but why should someone who does not be able to have insurance, or be faced with not having an animal because of its breed? So the little bits that you can do, whether it affects you personally or not, it's going to affect others. And again, don't wait for someone else, the proverbial someone else, to do something, because you are the someone, and every voice counts. Everybody should be heard, and everybody should get involved. And that's my soapbox for the evening. Next up, we've got a little dog lost in Waterbury. Zach, let's get that poster up. This little guy, he's a small brown Chihuahua. He's got white front paws, brown eyes, last seen wearing a brown collar. He was lost in the Fulton Park area, and he's been missing since February 7th, which is, you know, it's almost a month. His mom is worried sick, and, you know, all she wants is to have him home. If you have any information, if you see him, if you've seen him, if you know who has him, anything at all, 203-802-0084. Once again, that's 203-802-0084, or 203-808-5329. Once again, that's 203-808-5329. I'm told that there have been calls, there have been some supposed sightings, but family and friends come up empty-handed. As with any lost dog, please call in any sightings right away. Very important that people who are looking for the dog, any lost dog, can get to check out a sighting right away. Dogs can move pretty quickly, and, you know, if it's possible at all, they say to take a picture. If you can take a picture with, it gives a landmark sometimes, it gives a background, and it also, you know, everybody can describe the same dog differently. It all sounds like a different dog, but if you take a picture, even if it's not a very good one, it can give somebody peace of mind, like, yeah, that was my dog, or, oh, nope, that's not my dog. Doesn't make it any less important that it's missing. Speedo's got something to say.
That is a blue collar. Is that just something wearing his...
Yeah, that's just a different collar. When he went missing, he had a brown one on. Yeah. So anyway, if you're in that area, keep these numbers handy and call right away if you see or know of anything. You know, sometimes it helps if you're in a particular area where you know an animal is missing. Keep that poster, like, in your phone. You know, this way, you know, if you happen to see something, you have it right on your phone. Yeah, I mean, Speedo lives in that general vicinity, and he's saying he's gonna put it in his phone. You know, you can just download it right off of Facebook. You can take a picture of it. There's a lot of ways you can do it. But if you know you live in the area, very easy to do. Just, yeah, that's right. You saw that other person's dog. It's you just never know. So if you're armed with the tools to make a difference, once again, you can do it. And like I said, I know that the family just wants him back safe and sound. It would be a beautiful thing. We all like the happy endings. You know, sometimes dogs can last for a really long time on their own. I'm of the opinion that Waterbury is a horrible place to be a dog out on the streets. And, you know, it also brings to mind, you know, this is like just a cute little dog, and if somebody sees them, they could scoop them up and be like, oh, look, I found a dog, I need to keep them, or I need to find them a home. Folks, if you find a dog, it's not yours to keep. It's not yours to find a home for. There's very often, yes, animals are dumped, and the last thing that the former owner is thinking about is the dog. But in a lot of cases, people are looking for the dog, and you're well-meaning. Oh, I'm going to find him a home, or I'm going to keep him. You're breaking up a family. You're breaking somebody's heart. For an animal to go missing and never to know what happened to him. I mean, it's bad enough that a dog went missing, or a cat, or whatever it happens to be. But to never know what happened, that's torture. You're still looking, and your heart is just broken. So it's also against the law. May I add to that? To do something like that. Now, if you find an animal and you can keep them, I mean, this is where I differ from, I think, the law a little bit. But if you can hold on to the animal until the owner is found, you've got to report it to the authorities. Technically, you're supposed to turn them over to the animal control, but barring that, you've got to let animal control at least know that you have the animal. This way, if the owner shows up at the pound looking, there's a contact. And then by the same token, if it's not right away, you can't decide, oh, I love little foo-foo and I'm going to keep him, then his owners can't have him back. That's not, you've got to be pure of heart and selfless in what you're going to do with that. But anyway, if you've got any information, please, please, please call either one of those numbers. Little dog needs to go home. Okay, I'm going to take the camera back for a hot second. And I've got a dog who is looking for a home. His name is Baloo. He's looking for a forever home. And I guess, Zach, you can start scrolling through the pictures. Look at how handsome he is. He is just, looks like he was doing a little shopping there, a little Christmas shopping maybe. Buying some wrapping paper. He's just such a handsome, handsome dog. He is a sweet 2-year-old boy, neutered and up to date with his vaccinations. He's actually one of the lucky ones who survived the ACC. And that's no small feat when an animal can get out of the New York Animal Care and Control situations, whether it's Brooklyn or Staten Island or Manhattan, because those places are death camps. So he made it out. He's a lucky survivor. But, he needs, look at that head. I can't even stand it. He needs a forever situation. He loves car rides. He loves going hiking. He loves to play ball. He's very, Yep, he probably loves running, Speedo. He's very food motivated, and he only wants to please his person. He's got a lot of energy, but he settles down once he gets it out of his system. And, that's doesn't make him any different from any other dog. You know what I mean? That doesn't make him special needs. He's an active young dog. He loves his blankets, and he'll carry them around like Linus, which has got to be a sight to see. The big vicious pit bull carrying his little blankie, right? I can't even stand it. Anyway, Speedo's dying over here. Anyway, Baloo would do best with someone who has breed experience. He is a big boy at about 75 pounds, so no small children. And again, that's not uncommon either. He's a big dog. He's very powerful. He's going to knock a little kid over, not because he means to or not because he even jumps on them, but just because, a dog his size and with that energy level, like a bull in a china shop. So, it's inevitable that it's going to happen, and it's usually best to put a big, powerful dog with older children who aren't going to be, I'm going to say, the risk of being the wrong words, fall victim to his big clumsiness. And I hate to use the word victim, with pit bulls, but you all understand exactly what I'm saying. So anyway, Baloo can be good with females or other submissive dogs, or he can be an only. Of course, proper introductions and all that need to be made. He is a big mush at heart, and he deserves to have a place and a family to call his own. You know, he's currently in a foster home where it's not the perfect situation for him, and it isn't enough. So he deserves his forever. If you are interested, email lunasway723@gmail.com. That's LUNASWAY723@gmail.com. There is an adoption process, including an application and a home visit. So if you'd like an application, you can email booch0517@AOL.com. That's B as in boy, OOCH 0517@AOL.com. And one more round, I think, of Baloo. I just love his face, and that big block head is killing me. He's gorgeous. He is just absolutely stunning. So anyway, if you're interested in Baloo, you know what to do. And we're going to get this information up on Facebook. He is being shared around. I'll take the camera back. Please, if you see the lost Chihuahua, make the phone call. If you're interested in Baloo, send the email. Hopefully we'll see a whole lot of people at the screening of the Champions next week. I can't wait. We will be rerunning the show with Cherry Garcia, which I am still, like I said, so excited to, I mean, that's huge for me to have a victory dog on the show. I mean, I think it's pretty huge for anybody who gets to spend time with any of them. And I'm going to tell you, I saw a post on Facebook just before I got here. It looks like Cherry has a little sister. You know, Paul had said that they were thinking about another dog, and sure enough, you know, it was more about the right things had to fall into place, and the right face had to happen, and he's got a little sister. And go to Victory for Cherry. That's VICKTORY, the number 4 Cherry, and you can see pictures hot off the press of Victory's new sister, Ellie. Alrighty, so I'm pretty sure I'm out of time. I'm going to say peace, love, and dogs. Until next week, thank you for watching. Good night.